bringing you season 7 of the Great Debaters Contest. This is the Nairobi edition, and I am your host, Austin Nyumbok.
And I am Mariam Bishar. Now, living in today's world can feel a lot like a global village, especially with everything changing rapidly for young people. So should the curriculum change to occupy new emerging issues? We're talking about whether sex education and cyberbullying should be addressed in the new curriculum. And we have Kiserian Junior Academy and Mwiki High School tackling this issue. Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes.
My name is Ruth Mhonja from Mwiki Secondary. And under the courtesy of Mwiki Secondary School, I present to you why it is important to introduce sex education and cyberbullying in school curriculums. The first thing is that 50% of our girls lose their virginity at the age of 12 years to 18 years. Then another 50% get infections, e.g. HIV, AIDS, and STIs. And more than hundreds of millions of our girls get unwanted pregnancies. So this is why I think it is important to introduce sex education and cyberbullying in our school curriculums. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to make your opening statements.
Once I thought and I was told that the sky was blue, until somebody told me that it was a reflection of the water bodies. Sex education are instructions on issues relating to human sexuality. The first proposer stepped onto the stage and failed to tell you what the motion meant. For a long while, I thought that I was foolish. But today, I've actually realized that somebody is contesting for my foolishness. Cyberbullying, on the other hand, states that cyberbullying is when someone intentionally harasses another person using electronic forms. Who's the clever one? Food for thought. Just as eating, contrary to inclination, is injurious to the health, so study without desire spoils the memory and retains nothing that it takes in. This is a quote for Leonardo da Vinci. When somebody lacks interest in doing something, he'll actually not pay attention to what he's going to be taught. So sex education and cyberbullying, it sounds very less important to the school curriculum, just as PE. People may go for PE, but not all. Others will choose to sleep, others to read. So if this is introduced to the school curriculum, no one will actually pay attention. Some, I can say, will pay attention to it, but majority will not. So it won't help. Pope John the 23rd, the late, when he was the Archbishop in Paris, he went for a celebration. And in the celebration, a judge came, sat next to him, and they started chatting. Then a lady came with a short dress and sat next to him. So after the celebration, there was some kind of food given to them. There were fruits and also drinks. So the late Pope stood up, went and took 2 fruits, a banana and an apple. She gave the lady an apple. As we all know, an apple is also referred as a fruit for love. But when the woman asked him why he gave him the apple, the Pope said it was when Adam and Eve realized that they were naked, when they had actually eaten the apple. So if you dwell on this sex education, it will actually increase immorality. Thank you. Alvin Anditi from Kiserian Junior Seminary.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to make your rebuttal.
I firmly stand to say that sex education and school cyberbullying should be introduced in school curriculum, simply because, number one, if I talk about sex, learners provided with correct knowledge about sex. This means that when learners are being taught about sex, they have that knowledge. They gain that knowledge of knowing the right path and the way to follow on what to do. They have the right decisions to make after they are being taught. Because you see that there's those parents who are not able to talk to their children, to talk to the child about sex or about this kind of relationship, because some of our parents are not learned. They don't have the confidence. They see like it's a shame to talk to children about sex. We see most of them, they don't have the right skills. They lack. Now, if it is introduced in schools, these children, once they'll know, we are being taught in school, and being taught in school that even parents will have the confidence of also sharing about this sex. And then the other point is that learners are armed with the right skills to make right decisions. So we have, as learners, as youngsters, like the other day, on Friday, we saw in the news that over 21 million, they are the age between 13 to 19, are the ones affected with this, they are being pregnanted. And if they had the knowledge of knowing on which decision to make, they had the right to say no, and it means no. Misconception will be rectified. These stories whereby we see young girls having sugar daddies, young boys having sugar mummies. There'll be a correction, because they understand now that the consequences of having sex, and also cyberbullying. Students, most of us, they don't have phones because of their backgrounds. We understand, and most of us, they don't know how to use technology. But when let me end up there.
Opposers, you have 3 minutes for your rebuttal.
Education is the advertisement that makes us believe that we need the society as it is. But do we need the society as it is? I say no. Why? Because we have cyberbullying in the society. Tell me, I introduced cyberbullying in the curriculum. You learn, yes, what is cyberbullying? And what is sex education? Okay, sex education may help you, but when you learn what is cyberbullying, how can you stop it? We need to stop cyberbullying. Instead of introducing it to the curriculum, we need to have the government pass laws that will ensure the security of the teens, the security of the youth. Even the adults get cyberbullied. If I am lying, see me later and tell me the fact. As for now, I can give you a story of September 29th, 2012 in Ireland. The body of young Ciara Pugsley, a 15-year-old girl, was found dead. Cause of death, suicide. Motive, low self-esteem. When the month leading to her death, she was told some things like slut, ugly. And I say again, slut and ugly. If there's any beautiful girl inside here, of course there are many, but if you're called a slut, if you're called ugly, will you be able to stand in front of the people? No, low self-esteem. It makes you, it demoralizes you. It's like someone telling you you're not important to the society. It's like only beauty determines your destiny. And today, I want to give you a story also. When I was in Olympic High School, I was once there. I have gone in many schools, but when I was there, we had these guidance and counseling lessons instead of sex education. So guidance and counseling helped me. But in one instance, we were taught about sex. We were given an acronym and also an image of a staircase. So you start from handshake, holding hands, hugging, kissing. Then there was one that interested me so much. On that step, it had been written the underwear stage. You know what happens in this stage? This is when you make contact with your private parts. Okay, I searched this. I went home and searched this in the internet. You see, I searched it in the internet. So when I found it, I found myself watching porn. So what I'm saying is, watch your thoughts, they become words. Sorry, let me finish, my time is up. So watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become a habit. Watch your habit, they become your character, and your character determines your destiny. Logan Onyango, Kiserian Junior Seminary.
Thank you to the audience for posing questions to the two teams on stage. The proposers have been asked to verify the statistic that they gave, that 50% of women are infected with STIs. And the opposition have been asked to give us alternative ways of dealing with the issues of cyberbullying and, of course, sex education. We'll have them respond to those questions. Third proposer, you have 3 minutes.
Talking about sex education. Sex, why is it that sound like an abomination when we sound the three-lettered word, sex? Actually, this thing was there. In the beginning, man was created, and they saw that it was important, the creator. Sex is a significant ingredient of individual personality. So it does not have to sound like an abomination anytime it is mentioned. Otherwise, on cyberbullying issue, this thing is there. And as my colleague here said, it is not introducing to school. This thing, they know it. What we are doing here is to make them aware of it and to know how to stop it or how to prevent our students, our children to being bullied. Actually, the truth is, and the fact hurts, that school personnel knows, oftenly they're the first to know about the cyberbullying on the students. Well, the parents, we all know that these duties, they are not theirs. They're so busy for us. So I bet, and I support that, if this thing is introduced to the school curriculum, it is so important because we learn and we learn and become aware of the beauty of sex and its nature and improving our future life. So I firmly stand and agree to sex education and cyberbullying should be introduced in school curriculum. It is the study in 2010 found that 22% while in college suggests that those who are bullied is at the earlier point of their life, especially their school life. So what do you think if this thing of cyberbullying is introduced to the school curriculum? That will encourage and will make us aware of what is cyberbullying, what is sex education. Opposing sex education, that's really awkward because I bet from for our whole work, it's all about sex and that thing of marriage. When the man was created, the woman, I don't know whether she was created, she was operated from that rib thing, that story. So the whole thing was to emphasize on marriage, and in marriage and partnership, as we are told in first and second account of creation, it is on partnership or marriage. The thing remains that sex is involved. So whether we like it or not, this thing is there and it is natural. So let's be aware of it. And by introducing this thing in curriculum, in the school curriculum, it will encourage our teens or our youths in the near future. About cyberbullying, parents actually, they play a big role because I bet they're the one who introduced us to this by giving us the freedom of phones, computers. But because it is there, it is a digital move and we cannot avoid it. What we have to do, it is to learn how to avoid the cyberbullying. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to respond to the audience.
Deba, so do the inhabitants of Paris call it. It's an argument, and a good argument should be like a miniskirt. Short enough to attract your attention, but long enough to cover the essentials. Now, today I am contented to give you a good argument on the motion that states that sex education should be introduced in the curriculum together with cyberbullying. To oppose this motion, first, it has gone against the moral and religious teachings of our society. And this answers the question of the alternative methods of curbing sex education and cyberbullying in our society. First, moral teachings, they teach on abstaining. And this has not been so taught in sexual education because there's a loophole created when you're taught about sex education. This is whereby you're given a chance to choose whether or not to practice because you already know the measures you can take to prevent certain maybe diseases and so on. Therefore, the only thing is to be deeply rooted in our religious and moral teachings so that we can abstain until marriage. Secondly, on cyberbullying, take the instance of an individual who has been having an account in the social media or something, and then defamatory false accusations are posted to his offense. Even if you teach this person this cyberbullying, you wouldn't have helped him in the sense that he will still be subjected to discreditance. Maybe his name was up here, and now after the cyberbullying, he has been discredited and defamed. So how then will this sexual education and cyberbullying help him? Also, statistics say a study by Mathematical Policy Research on behalf of the US Department of Health and Human Services found that abstinence only until marriage programs are ineffective. I do not disagree, but that is not a matter that should force us to introduce sexual education into the curriculum. This now lies in the immorality of our society. We can solve this if only we promote moral societies and parents who are the basic unit of our society, the leaders of the basic unit of our society. They should teach their children on proper morals and emphasize them. Okay. They say that if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. Now, I take this chance to say that you are unjust to introduce sexual education and cyberbullying in our curriculum because it only takes more of our time instead of engaging into other useful activities. Felix Mwendo, Kiserian Seminary.
We'll hear closing statements now. Proposers, you have 1 minute.
To conclude on this issue, I'll just ask a question. How can you learn something that you're not taught? You have to be taught so that to learn. This thing we are taught by our peers. What do you think if you are taught by some experienced person or some trained personnel? It will be much better. So if it's introduced in the school curriculum, actually, it is not going to take most of our time because the whole thing, our youths are carried away by this thing of internet chatting about sex. That's all they know better. So if they are taught much better in a manner way, that will be more encouraging. Other than talking about it like it's an illegal thing, why don't we make it legal and talk about it the way it is?
Opposition, you also have 1 minute for your final statement.
There are things that are taught. There are things that just need guidance. In school, I was taught not to be a thief, but someone is a thief out there. So what does it mean? I need guidance, not to be a thief. So just some things just need guidance and counseling. And also, if you introduce this, let's say you introduce sex education in school, and then a student comes to class. You see, like me, I gave you an instance earlier. For me and many other students out there, we'll take this as a recreational course. We'll go there to have fun and will not consider it as a major subject in our curriculum. So if I am not paying attention, what do I come out with? And also, to curb cyberbullying is not that hard. The first step you take, you who is being cyberbullied, talk to your parent, be open, talk to a teacher. She will help you. Maybe you can even get the police. And then that's the way forward to solving cyberbullying. Thank you.
Let me just take you through the judging sheet. One, we look at style and presentation. What is your style as you do your presentation or as you make your presentation? Mastery of language. We are struggling with language. So ensure that maybe you up your game when it comes to competence in the use of English language. Passion and conviction. Do you really feel the emotion? These are emotions that we can easily identify with. We are young people. We are at that point in life when we are sexually active. We can identify with it and we can passionately communicate it. Coherency of argument and mastery of topic, it wasn't there. So I don't want to be hard on us. I just want to say that we have tried, but I'm sure that next time we are going to come back better. But it was a fair presentation. Next time we can do better.
Having in mind that this was your first debate, I don't know, I'm highly disappointed. Nobody ever said anything about cyberbullying, like really telling us what is cyberbullying. At some point, I felt like both teams, especially Mwiki, thought sex education will be sex. There is more to sex education than just sex. And at some point, I felt like Dorcas, you were encouraging teenage sex, the way you were bringing in your issues. On the side of Kiserian Junior, you really did not tell us why we should not introduce sex education. And you kept saying it is boring, people will opt out. Why are you concluding this about the youth?
I felt that almost all the teams, the two teams that were involved, were very much detached from the audience. Debating skills is about connecting with your audience. It's the first time, of course. We are still learning, so we cannot blame you on that. But as I finish, one of the things that again we look at when you stand here is grooming. I could see some ties loose. So please also check on your grooming as you come in. Thank you.
To the results now. Mwiki High School and Kiserian Junior, you tied at 50%. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Thank you.
Congratulations to the two teams, and we appreciate the fact that it's their first time, and we urge them to keep coming back to the contest and help them grow their skills. We appreciate you, our audience, for being active and participating, and to our viewers back home. Engage us on social media at Great Debaters EA for Twitter. I've been your host, Austin Yambok.
And I am Mariam Bishar. Thank you for watching.